Welcome to Section 7 of this course. In Section 7, we will put together a small but very well-built Android application using all kinds of patterns and language features which we have covered in this course, along with some new ones. What's more, for those of you who wish to learn coroutines for concurrency, I will show you how to set that up in a way which is both very simple but also very general purpose. By the end of this section, you will have built a well-tested, modular, asynchronous, event-driven architecture which you can use as a blueprint for more complicated applications. Please check the resources section in each video to get a link to the appropriate source code to check your work. So that's it for the preamble. In this video, we will create a new project in Android Studio and add the few libraries which we will require to get this project working via Gradle. Alright, so I've opened up Android Studio, and the very first thing we'll do is go to File, New Project, and we're going to create a new project with an empty activity. For the application name, it is going to be, surprise, surprise, a calculator application, but you can basically call it whatever you want. I'm going to call this particular one Calculator Demo. Package name, again, pretty much pick whatever you want. And for language, certainly pick Kotlin. Android API 21 as the minimum API level is fine. And I also suggest you select Use Android X artifacts. So this will basically change where you download your dependencies from. And I believe basically the whole Android platform will eventually transition into these Android X artifacts. In any case, the numbers are a little bit easier to work with, so I'm going to suggest you select that. Anyways, once that's complete, we're just going to hit Finish. So there's two things that I'm going to do right away. For starters, I'm going to move the package or Project Explorer over to the other side of the screen by clicking the gear icon and going to move to right. That's more for your convenience, not mine. And the other thing I'm going to do is in the Project Explorer, as you can see, there's this little Android tab. So this changes how you actually view the file tree, which you're looking at in your project. I'm personally not a big fan of the Android version, or whatever you want to call it, setting. So I'm just going to click on that and select Project Files. And this will give a more accurate or true representation of the files in the application. So like I said before, in this video, all we're going to do is we're just going to create a new project and handle the Gradle configuration. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the project level build Gradle file by double clicking on it. And just going to make sure that everything is correct here. I don't think I actually need to make any changes. At least for me, this is the current Gradle version, or the current Kotlin version rather. I will update this to 3.4.2 as one small change, but I can leave everything else the way it is. So I want to open up the project level, module level build Gradle file. So to do that quickly, instead of messing around with the Project Explorer by clicking, I'm going to hit Control-Shift-N, which is basically a way to automatically look up files. Control-N will look up classes. And I'm just going to type build.gradle, and it will tell me that this is the module level build Gradle file. So again, I don't see too many changes that I need to make up here, and we won't actually be using that many libraries, which was actually one of the design goals of this demo application, to use as few libraries as possible. So I'm just going to have a look at the finished project. And so like I said before, you're going to want to have the appropriate source code open as you're completing these things, because there will be some things that I will just copy and paste over, things like Gradle configurations and so forth. We won't need the core-ktx library there. We will add some Kotlin libraries for sure though. So one thing, we're going to switch to using JUnit 5. So currently this will import JUnit 4. So I'm just going to copy and paste the correct artifact in. So JUnit 5 has a different repository and also different version number. So you're going to need to update that. And other than that, let's see here. We won't actually be using Espresso or the Android test runner, but we're just going to leave that be for now. So really the only thing we need to import here are the libraries which will make it possible for us to work with coroutines. So what I'm going to do is we actually have two libraries. So I'm going to type in here Just give me a moment. So in the Groovy programming language, we're going to want to create a definition, which is kind of like a local variable. It's always difficult for me to translate these things. But yeah, we're going to type def coroutines version, and that's going to equal, at least at this point, 1.2.1. And then I'm going to paste in two repositories. So one will contain the core functionality of coroutines, and the other one will be basically the Android-based coroutine dispatcher. So basically what this imports is dispatchers.main. We'll see how that works later on, but this is very similar if you ever worked with RxJava to RxAndroid and the RxAndroid import. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's totally fine. All right, so only one more thing. Just make sure you have Kotlin Android extensions plugin added in here so everything looks just like this. And other than that, there's no configuration we need to do to finish the entire application. So once again, just a really quick point here. One of the purposes of building this application, or one of the goals for it, was for me to use as few libraries as possible. Now, the reason why I've chosen to do that is so that this code will be more resistant to changes over time. For those of you wondering, I do typically use a number of libraries in the Android architecture components and Android Jetpack artifacts or libraries, but there's something to be said for, as Robert C. Martin always says, keeping your frameworks at arm's length. So that's it for this lesson, and in the next lesson we will look at some problem domain analysis and how to build interfaces and domain objects out of that problem domain analysis.